Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Get it poppin'.
Happy Tuesday.
Hey, happy Tuesday.
K-Jack. What brown? What sugar?
Hey,
Hour.
hey, they ain't ready. Hey.
So we talked about a lot today. We talked about some cancellations. We see y'all's out there. Shout out to Aretha Franklin. Wishing her a speedy recovery, hopefully.
Girl, we're not ready yet, so.
We're going to play a little bit of Aretha Franklin later. Maybe we'll go out on that.
Yeah, we'll go on that. Some good luck.
We talked about HBO's Insecure Season 3, Episode 1. Our thoughts on that. We're stressed.
The stress is real.
Stress is real. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic of discussion. We're going to talk about the movie BlacKkKlansman. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We're talking about it all.
Spoiler alert to where you might not even want to go see it after this.
We're talking about it all.
Because if I would have heard this, I probably would. No, I probably would have seen it just to have an opinion.
I wouldn't.
We almost left. We're in the movie theater. Kavan turns to me. He's like, I don't think I like this. Right when I was thinking that, and I'm like, should we leave? And I was like, no, we got to see it through so we could tell people.
I even turned around like, it was like 15 minutes after that. I was like, hey, I'm ready whenever you are. She was like, what? I was like, I'm ready to leave whenever you are.
We had to finish it for y'all so we could talk to y'all about it.
Because this movie, let's just get into it. Go ahead and give them the premise of the story.
All right. What are they saying? Woo, child. Premise of the story. So Ron Stallworth, he wants to be a cop. So he's the first black cop. Was it in Chicago?
It's based off the true story in Colorado.
You're right, Colorado. Yeah, he wanted to be the first black cop. So they took him on. Basically, he went through the steps. Like, what are you going to do if this happened? What are you going to do if this happened? What are you going to do if a fellow officer calls you the N-word? And his reaction to this should have been the first tip, because his reaction to that was like, I'm gonna ignore it if I can, sir. But there was no flinch. Like, I feel like if someone was like, what if a co-worker called you the N-word, I'd be like, like,
I don't know.
He was like, I can handle it. It's like, whoa, all right, let's see where this goes. So he basically gets the job, and he's like their black snitch. So BSU comes into town.
You can't name it like that.
No, BSU comes into town, and they're like, because he wanted to be sent to like the narcotics team, undercover, whatever. So they're like, no, you can't do that. But then they're like, actually, yeah, we're gonna let you do that. And he was like, what? Because they wanted him to go spy at this BSU meeting because Stokely Carmichael was going to be speaking there, and he was very like impactful on people, so they were afraid he was going to like cause a rise.
Was his name like Kwame Ture? Yes, his name. He changed his name to Kwame Ture later, and they were like super like, he was like, his name is, it's not, what's name?
So he goes and spies on this for these police officers because they're worried that it's going to cause some type of uprise from the black community in this area. They have him wired, all that good stuff. But then while he's there, he starts to fall for this girl who's like the leader. All right, let's talk about this. I'm going to finish the story premise. A lot of people get upset because a lot of times in like black movies or just like in black history, black things, there's always, most times, light-skinned women at the forefront of this, which I understand why people are upset, because I feel like that's true. I feel like dark-skinned women, brown-skinned women are not getting the love that they deserve, and they need to be in the spotlight. And it just makes me upset because it was like, okay, they picked this light-skinned woman to do that. Not saying that light-skinned women can't. The dark-skinned women aren't getting the love, but they picked the light-skinned woman to be this leader. And this actress was trash. I was like, if you're going to do it, like, do it right. Because I was
literally
like,
thought of so many. No, instantly, I literally thought of like so many like women who could have did it. Ashley Blaine from.
She would have been perfect.
Ashley Blaine would have been perfect.
I thought about her too.
I said Ashley Blaine. I said Michaela Cole. There could have been so many people that just like played this role, and
it was not good. Because I was like, is this a joke? Because she was like, I'm going to do it for the people.
Power to the
and she was looking around like, woo, black. Yeah.
But I was also confused because I didn't know from the beginning of the movie, I really couldn't tell if it was supposed to be satirical or serious. Period. Like the whole movie, I was like...
Well, here's like my issue with that is because I felt like whenever they talked about the other half, like, so, there was this half that was going on with the BSU and them trying to be like real proactive, and then Ron Stallworth trying to like get his life together in this police force, and then you have this other story about the KKK and how he's communicating with them, pretending to be a white man on the phone. My issue with that, though, is I feel like whenever it came to, like, the BSU side of the story, like, they were really, like, goofy. Like, I wasn't really buying the acting. Like, she wasn't very good. The guy who's playing Stokely Carmichael wasn't very good. Like, it wasn't very believable. And, like, the cinematography in that part of the movie, like, during Stokely Carmichael's speech, Spike Lee had it go to the different black faces in the audience, which was effective for the first, like, 10 seconds out of the 2 minutes that he did that.
No, that's what I was
like, it doesn't really, like,
I thought the cinematography was excellent. I thought that the misuse of the cinematography was my problem. Like, I felt like there were times where, like, you're like, ooh, this is really painting, like, a great picture, and it would continue on too long. Or
that
it
lasted,
wasn't
like,
enough.
10 minutes.
It was, like, a solid 10 minutes.
Because I was like, ooh.
And we're like, ooh, okay. This is stressful.
And I was like, all right, this, like, speech delivery isn't good.
And then the Jackie Robinson clip.
So, sorry, I just went straight from the premise. But Ron Stallworth, he joins the police force, goes undercover, has been spying on the BSU. He starts to fall for Patricia, which is the president of the BSU. And while at the same time, he's trying to be, like, this undercover cop trying to get into intel from the KKK. So they call it the organization. They were like, don't ever call it the Klan. Call it the organization. Wink, So he's on the phone with them pretending to be someone white and gets invited to come to a KKK meeting. Another officer pretends to be him. He's been going to all these meetings
as an undercover, and his name was Flip.
And Flip was Jewish. Let's talk about Flip for a second. So Flip, he was saying, like, the whole time he grew up, he just considered himself like a white boy, and he never, like, considered himself Jewish until he had to defend himself every day about it when he was in the KKK. Like, in the KKK. And I was like, that's interesting because black people have to do that every day. We have to constantly defend our blackness. And he was like, I've never experienced anything like that until I had to constantly defend myself for being Jewish.
But Flip was the hero to me. Like, when I was watching the movie, I was just like, wow, Flip is really out here going undercover, doing all Ron Stallworth's work. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, why Ron Stallworth was considered a hero when Flip did everything. Like, Flip literally did everything. Like, when they were having the KKK meetings, he risked his life. Like, he was on foot doing everything. Like, Ron Stallworth literally just was on the phone and code switched.
And then at that point, like, Flip could have just did it all
by himself.
Yeah.
Because it probably would have helped with the consistency because a lot of people, like, didn't think. Like, there was, like, inconsistencies in the beginning. And they're like, your voice is different. Like, what's going on? And it was just really like, the whole movie was just really stressful. Because I was like, there was a lot of, like, issues with code switching. Code switching was, like, a main theme in the movie. And, like, there was that one comment that Ron Stallworth made to his boss. He was like, I can speak jive and old English. And, like,
because they were doubting that he could pull it off.
But then Ron Stallworth didn't even switch to speaking jive when he was supposed to.
So later on in the movie, they want Flip, who is Ron Stallworth in the movie, to be the president of the KKK. And Ron Stallworth, the actual Ron Stallworth, gets sent to defend their, like, leader
as security.
So Flip and Ron are both at this event, and Flip, who's playing Ron, gets inducted as, like, the KKK president. So Flip's gone through all this.
And then it was just, like, this whole, like, ceremony that they had. And it was really interesting because it was like, heavy ties to, like, because they were supposed to be, like, Protestant. They're, like, Protestant Christians. And it was, like, heavy ties to, like, Catholicism. And I was just really confused as to, overall, what was Spike Lee's point?
And did he get across the way he wanted it to? I don't think it did.
I thought this was a flop. This was one of the worst Spike Lee movies I've ever seen in my life.
It kind of, like, this is what I was talking about earlier, like, when you see, like, the BSU side and Ron Stallworth, it just seems really goofy, unbelievable, like, his relationship with Patricia and some other characters. There's no chemistry. Like, I don't see any, like, oh, I want them to be together, and, like...
Like, when she played him, she was like, oh, like, I can't be with nobody who's not down for the cause. You a turkey. Really she was like, you a jive turkey. And then, like, he was like, no, Patricia, I'm I'm real. And it was like a lot of times, like, it was crazy because it really is like this dichotomy, that like this double consciousness that like you're able to feel sometimes, like as a Black person, like trying to fit into different spaces. So trying to fit into maybe a predominantly white space, and then trying to fit into like an all Black space, and not being able to do both. But it was just the way that it played out on screen was so terrible. It was so terrible. Like I was like a sellout. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Because he was still at the end of the movie, I don't even think he was down for the cause. He just had a little crush on Patricia.
And his mind was changing because he was with her. And how many people that like, and it was crazy because I was on the phone talking to my friend.
Cross over.
And she was like, my friend was just like, sometimes it really does take like a strong Black woman to like root somebody into understanding themselves. But I was like, at the same time, like, why can't we just have a character where Ron was down from the beginning? You know what I mean? Where he was really just truly trying to infiltrate, where he was like really trying to truly infiltrate, and he was down from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Like that would have been a better like premise to this story than to be like, oh, he wasn't really down. Like they would, because remember, even the cops in the beginning would just make rude comments and say all type of stuff, and he would just let it fly. He was like he was like working in records, like not like letting them say stuff. The one guy would come and call him the N-word, and that was another thing. I was so tired of everyone in this movie said the N-word. Mm-hmm. I was so pressed. I was like, listen, we ain't gotta say it this many times.
Right. And I was like, was this directed by Quentin Tarantino? Because dang, all these N-words.
They was dropping all of the N-bombs.
Are you sure this was Spike Lee?
I was like, Spike, come on now. We can do better than this. Like, it was just, this movie was just so
and another issue I had with this movie is I kind of felt like that part that was, depicting the KKK was kind of like, I don't want to say glorified, but like had the audience wanting to feel sympathy for some people in there. And I don't know if Spike Lee was trying to get at the like that there's a spectrum of people that could be against you. So there was like the dumb KKK member, there was the psychopath one that was Jasper, there was the nice one who was stepping down from his position and really like compassionate, because
he was only focused on brotherhood. He didn't really care about like actually
he was like, we're non-violent and da-da-da.
I was like, he lying
liar. But I don't know if like necessarily Spike Lee was just trying to show like a spectrum of people, like the KKK, or just hate can exist in all different types of people, or what he was getting at. But then it was like, you shouldn't be having us feel bad for them when they're out here trying to like bomb these Black people.
And then it's like on top of all of this that happened, then we get to the end of the movie.
Well, let's not talk about the end yet. Why don't we talk about you want to tell the story about the bomb and your favorite character, the part with the bomb and the woman?
She's not wife. First of all, she's not my favorite character. That's number one. First of all, Jasper's wife. So they have this woman, and she is Jasper's wife, and he's in the KKK. So she is just like completely down to do whatever. Like when I say she just wanted to be a part, she just wanted to do her part for the KKK. She would like there's like a scene where they're laying in bed, and she's just calling everybody the N-word and saying like all types of other racial slurs and just being completely disrespectful. And she's just saying all types of just crazy stuff, and we're like, wow, like, can you like please chill? Like, cause she was just off her rocker the whole time.
Well, honestly, I don't even know if she was really like down with it. I think she just wanted to do whatever her husband wanted, because she was like, are you sure you want to do this? Remember when they were laying down in bed? She's like, are you sure you want to kill?
She said, because killing somebody is completely different from like just like saying you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, I'm serious, like I'm ready. And so basically he tricks her into carrying this bomb, and she has this bomb, and she's basically supposed to plant the bomb where the BSU meeting is supposed to be at the end of the movie. And the police swarm because they had all this like intel, because like Ron Stallworth had like planets and stuff, and like did some stuff, so they did all their undercover work. So as soon as it was about to happen, he was like, oh no, Patricia, I gotta go save Patricia. So he went to go save her. The next thing you know, she trying to plant the bomb at Patricia's house, because that was plan B. They were trying to kill Patricia specifically. And I was just like, ugh, here we go. Like, the one revolutionary who's actually down, who they're actually doing this for, like, boom, they're trying to kill her. And I was like...
Because earlier in the movie, Ron was talking about, like, can we talk about something else? We don't always have to talk about politics. Like, it doesn't always matter. And she's like, it does.
She's like, this is my life. Like, I live this life. And it was just like, he was like, okay, and he even joked, he said, okay, Angela Davis. And I was like, Ron, okay. And they were saying the C word. They were saying like, cool in the whole movie. I was like,
But basically, Jasper's wife plants the bomb in her car, or in Patricia's like tire part or whatever. At the same time, Ron catches her trying to do that, and he like tackles her down, trying to arrest her because he's a cop. These white cops pull up, and she's like, "He's trying to rape me. He attacked me." You know, the usual. She's
the poor lily white woman
recipe. He's like, "No, I'm a cop." He's like, "I got my badge in my pocket," and they were like, "Get it out of your pocket." Before he doesn't even make any moves to get it out of his pocket, they tackle him to the ground. Here comes Flip to save the day yet again.
They super listen to him. He's like, "Oh, chill out. You're in messed up investigation. We the Colorado police." They were like,
"Oh, okay.
He a police officer."
So while that's going on, Jasper and the really dumb KKK member are pulling up to see what's going on. They click the button to blow up Patricia's house because they didn't know where the bomb was. It's supposed to be at her house. It's in the car that they're right next to. They blow themselves up.
The car and them, and I was just like, wow, like.
But I was really upset with this scene because here it is, like, Flip is the hero yet again, and these, like, it was like this white cop had to save the day. Like this, here it is, like a white man has to save this black man. That's the only way the story's going to carry.
But it's like every single time. Like, it was like, that's what I'm saying, like, in the movie, like, when, like, you were saying, like, it's every single time
like
Flip came to save the day. And I was just like, here we go. Here we go. Once again. Mm-hmm. Parts that I really did like, though, I love when they sat down and they were talking to Jackie Robinson. Like, they were sitting there and they had him come. The BSU, like, had him come and speak.
Oh, that was Harry Belafonte.
Oh, sorry, Harry Belafonte.
Harry Belafonte. Oh, I was so excited for that. I thought that was such a beautiful thing because we need to get all the information we can from him. He has so much knowledge on everything. Like, I swear, every documentary I watch, he's in it. The one with Maya Angelou, the one with Nat King Cole. Like, he has just been a part of so many different things throughout history. This is dope. So, if Spike Lee did anything right, that was it.
That scene was excellent. No, but the dichotomy of it, because right when this beautiful scene is happening and he's over here, like, pouring his heart out and telling everything about, like, the history of, like, black people and, like, how we need to empower each other and how it's all about, like, knowing ourselves and, like, being self-aware. And he was just talking about, like, our health and just all types of stuff. And, like, he's dropping this, and then the KKK is having their meeting. And they're like, yeah, and we're so excited because all these N-words are going down. And you're like, he's over here, like, trying to say, like, we're doing this for, like, the Aryan Brotherhood. And I think, like, Spike Lee was doing it to show, like, we're doing it because we both have things that we believe in that are different, but, like, it's ultimately the same, like, thing. But why, Spike? Mm-hmm. Like, this I was just, why?
The guy who plays Ron Stallworth, his name is actually John David Washington. He's Denzel's son. And I'm just so disappointed to find that out.
He's what?
He's Denzel Washington's son. And it's not like they didn't need him for the... I mean, the story was about him, technically, but they didn't really...
I just wish he would have did better. When you know better, you do better. And clearly he know better because this was a terrible role for him.
Let's move on. Okay, there was a part of the movie that really was making me uncomfortable because you know how it's usually like, power to the people. They kept saying all power to all people. Like, every single time they said it. They never just said power to the people. And I'm like, is this like an all lives matter?
That's what I was thinking. That's honestly what I was thinking.
Because it didn't even, like, flow right. Because, like, one, she wasn't a good actress, the woman who played Patricia. But she was like, all power to all people. All power to all people. And I'm like, it's power to the people.
No, and then Ron Stallworth said power to the people. And she was like, no, it's all power to all people. And I was like...
What kind of subliminal all lives matter thing are you trying to slip into here? That was weird.
And that's why I was over here, like, that's why I was trying to figure out, like, was it like Spike Lee being satirical?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, was this like a satirical thing? Was it not? Mm-hmm. This is kind of ridiculous. I'm confused.
So let's talk about the leader of the KKK. I don't remember his name, but he was like the head leader. He was the one
the national director.
Yeah, he was the one talking to Ron on the phone majority of the time. So he was saying that the KKK didn't have to be violent anymore, that they didn't have to go out of their way to kill all these black people, because if they let all of their hate infiltrate in politics, it'll do it for them. Because he didn't know that they were bombing.
I said, message. message.
He said, let the politics do the dirty work for us. We don't have to do that anymore.
No, and then if I'm not mistaken, there was a lot of just ideals and parallels that they were drawing between like him and number 45. Like the national director, like the things that he was saying. I think there was even like a speech that he was doing, and they like towards the end they had like this they panned like a whole bunch of just different videos of like alt-right attacks, and it was attacks from like in speeches of number 45, and then they panned back to the national director, and he was saying the same thing. And I was just like,
we could talk, I think we could touch on the end now. So at the end of the movie, there was the upside down American flag message, and then also they ended it with showing the white woman who got murdered
in Charlottesville.
Her name was Rachel. I don't remember her last name. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. They said that this is Spike Lee's like slick way to get everyone to care, because when you show like white people who get murdered, everyone's like like all up in arms. But if it's like you keep showing these black people that keep dying, then people don't care as much because it's like a daily occurrence. Do you think that was his angle?
I mean, like that could have been his angle. But why hasn't Spike Lee spoke out? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you have like the initial shock. Like, everyone's seen the movie now. Like,
I mean, it kind of just came out.
I think it's time for him to start saying some things, because like literally, like I really need answers. Like, if like I understand like that spin, but at the same time, like how are we ever gonna get people to take us seriously if this is what we do, if we have to ploy it every time? Like, if we always have to have like a sneak around to do things, like it's ridiculous.
Because then I feel like at the end of the day, people are just upset about this white woman dying, and it's not even
and miss the whole point of the movie. And like, especially because like we saw it in Flagstaff, so it was awkward. Like, we sit in the movie theater,
only black people, one other black lady, and a black man. There was a couple. They were a couple. He was.
There were a couple, and then everybody else in the movie theater was white.
But to me, I was just getting weird vibes of like all these old racist people coming to see this movie to reminisce.
That's what it felt like. They're like, yeah.
It didn't feel like a revolutionary movie. And we were talking about like this movie could have been more impactful had it had been set in the present.
I think that would have been perfect.
Because it was so long ago, such an old story. People are like, oh, that's horrible. Glad that doesn't happen anymore.
And then I see like the parallels that he was trying to like draw towards the end. Like, it's still happening, because like there was multiple videos of like the alt-right attacks and all these other things, but like it just didn't hit home the way it needed to.
And I know like it's a story that does really exist from James Baldwin, but it was like if you could just
it just didn't hit, like,
modify it, make it
did not hit home the way it was supposed to. Like,
people know that it's still happening.
I don't know. This movie was so stressful.
So do you think he was trying to change, or maybe not change, the outlook on cops who are people of color, especially black cops? Because, I mean, if he was trying to change the outlook, he didn't do a very good job, unless he wasn't trying. Because, like, can you change things from the inside, truly?
When she was talking about the double consciousness, she was like, can we really change things from the inside? And she would Patricia was like, no, you can't change anything from the inside,
because the whole system is
set up against us, which is like the truth, you know? And then like, but we have all these people who like swear like, oh no, I'm gonna go change it from the inside, like I'm gonna go be a good cop, and Ron Stallworth like was on these bunk missions from the beginning, doing stuff against his people.
Had they not wanted him to spy on the black student union meeting, which he could go into because he was the only black cop, he would have just been in the record room
doing nothing.
And
he like took it upon himself, like even like this whole KKK thing, like he took it upon himself to do it, but that was after he like got empowered by the speech from Kwame Ture. And so it's just like, I don't know, like, is it that we need people out here speaking up and having conversations with people who are on the inside to be able to have a change of heart? Or like, what do we need to do as a community in order to be all on the same page? So I just felt like this whole movie, everyone was on completely different pages, and there was supposed to be,
maybe it was the scripts or the acting. There just was no chemistry. It wasn't very believable.
I wasn't. That's what I'm saying. I really thought it was like, I thought it was a joke. Like, I literally looked at you like halfway through the movie, and I was like, so is this like a joke, or like, what is it supposed to be? Are we supposed to be this funny, or?
I was like, I don't really know what to do with myself right now. And it wasn't like Sorry to Bother You when we were shook, because that was a great movie.
That was excellent.
I have to stay here because I have to talk about it later, and we already paid and we got all the snacks.
No, I literally looked at her. I was like, we can go. She's like, we can go get our money back. I said, no, for real. Because this is, I don't know, like, and it really poses the question to Spike Lee, like, who did you make this movie for? I really want to know, who did he make this movie for? Like, was it for the culture? Because I don't think it was for the culture, in my personal opinion. But there's other people who think so. Like, this movie is just like, I don't know, was he doing all these things in the movie just to spark conversation? I don't know what the point was.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 97.
Who is behind these Rotten Tomato reviews?
But they're like good, like they're good, credible reviews. So that's why I'm so confused. What would you give it? I give it a smooth 68.
That was generous. I was getting a 54.
I know.
Like, I thought it was trash. I thought the movie was trash. My personal opinion. I really did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did y'all see it? What did y'all think about it?
Y'all let us know. Tweet us, add us at the Brown Sugar Hour.
At Brown Sugar Hour.
Everything.
I think we should get into some more music and go ahead and wrap it up. What time is it?
I think it's at 7:55. So
7:55.
One more song and we out.
One more song. What should we listen to?
Aretha, One Step Ahead.
Yeah, because our prayers going out to Aretha. She's sick right now with cancer. Kavan said that she's supposedly was doing better. They said
that she was doing better, but I'm not sure. So I'm not gonna.
Don't quote us.
Don't quote us, because we don't know.
Don't quote us.
You know what I'm saying?
But this is the Brown Sugar Hour on KJack Radio 107.1 FM. It's your girl, Kiara Brown.
And your boy, Q, what's so fly?
Make sure you add us on all of our social media, our Snapchat, our Facebook, our Instagram, YouTube. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for watching our videos. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. This angle whack?
Subscribe,
I don't know.
comment, share,
let us know.
like, subscribe.
People want to do collabs. Share. Let us know. And when I was actually talking to Kavan, we were thinking about doing some reaction videos to different things. Maybe like some music videos, dance videos.
Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready.
Let us know your ideas.
Because our review on that Taco Bell drink, let me tell you, that drink was awful.
They still have the audacity to sell it. I hope it's just seasonal, and I hope it never comes back.
I hope it flopped. Like this movie. I mean, go ahead. Let's get into the song.
Anyways, make sure you add us on all of our social media. This is the Brown Sugar Hour, and we will talk to y'all next Tuesday. Let's get information. I slay.